All right, so Mr. Wizard, the Ogre, episode whatever. All right, so this show is intended for adults with a mature mindset. We do not condone drugs or violence or anarchy. I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying we don't officially publicly. Like, if you're going to do that shit, don't blame it on me. And don't be a fucking idiot. Thanks. All right, so episode 6, fucking Tuesdays. All right, so whiteboard, Matt, you got anything fun?
Well, we already crossed one off.
What? Oh, the disclaimer?
Yep.
Yeah, covered that. Hopefully it'll be at the beginning of this episode and sound fire.
So we got Hunger and Chaos, Something in Yellow That Nobody Can Read,
Dandelion.
and Dandello.
Dandello. Okay, so let's start with the dandelion and oak tree then. So story goes, there's this field, right? And in the middle of it, there's this giant, beautiful, ancient oak tree and a dandelion growing just a few feet away, right? So every little storm, every breeze, the dandelion's knocked over, right? And the oak's just basically talking shit about, like, if you were a real plant, if you were strong enough, whatever, you wouldn't blow over for every fucking wind. So huge squall comes in, flattens this giant oak tree, right? So as it's laying there on its side, completely fucked, dying, the dandelion, who just endured the same squall, stands itself back up to stare at the sun and says, "How you like them apples?"
So does Hunger and Chaos lead to Dandello? Or
Dandello. They're yes. Okay, so let me start at the beginning. I wanted to start with the chaos and the hunger thing, right? All creatures are driven by hunger of some form. So the most primitive of them are food and security, and the highest of us are drugs and dopamine fixes. So, like, that hunger is literally a driving force. So recognizing your hunger and feeding it properly will hopefully prevent the rest of those, the not so proper feedings. So Dandello is a creature from the Dark Tower series, right? Sort of like Pennywise, an alien that absorbs human emotions and shit. So whereas it feeds on fear generally, Dandello feeds on humor, laughter. He's a comedian. So in my opinion, he's actually considerably scarier than Pennywise because, like, getting your arm ripped off and then eating is terrifying. Got it. Can you imagine laughing yourself to death? You ever laughed you were so scared? Yeah, imagine doing that for however long this thing decides to fuck with you. The little the deaf kid, mute kid. Yeah, because he cut his tongue off. Yeah, he kept him in a box in the basement for however many years. Dandello is a creature of pure hunger, right? Like the rest of us. His is just in such a huge macro that it's easy to spot when it's super fucked up. When people are just a little bit fucked, they can hide. Okay, so shadow work is, let's say you have 3 boyfriends and none of them know about each other. Those are demons. Those are shadows, things you don't want coming to light. Okay, so your shadows, you want to bring into light if anybody does. Nobody likes being called on their bullshit. So now think about what a light worker does. We call them on their bullshit. And nobody likes being called on their bullshit. Anybody that's happy about being a light worker is a fucking liar. Maybe not. I mean, maybe people are better at it than I am. Like they have tact or something, but so many people have so many fucking problems. I have to piss you off just to get anything done. Like, I don't want to talk to your ego. I want you mad and screaming. That's the real you. The amount of real shit people drop when they're fucking ready to stab somebody. I can meet you and know you for 30 years, and until I see you get in a fist fight, I don't know you.
Well, when you're in that pissed off state of mind, you don't.
Rage.
Yeah, your filter switches off.
So I think everybody's schizophrenic. You got your lower brain, upper brain, cerebellum versus cerebrum. You got the lowest brain, which is your medulla oblongata. The way your spine evolved, or the way your nervous system was, like, spine first. So you got vertebrates. That's why you have vertebrates and invertebrates. Things that have evolved to spine are advanced. So your most basic things your heartbeat, your breathing, your hunger. These all come from your spine. Once you get to the upper of the spine or the lower of the brain into the brainstem, that's your reflex actions, your urge to mate, your animal instincts.
Yeah, which I think is what they refer to as the reptile.
Yeah. And then you've got the lower, the cerebrum, which would be like your monkey shit, colonies, maybe language. And then you get into the upper brain, which is your sciences, your math, your invention. That's like your frontal lobe is supposedly what makes you you. That's why the full frontal lobotomies from a century ago were so popular, because you can still be a machine, that most upper portion of your brain. Yeah, so we're going to jump into alcohol. Like, why not go into a legal drug for once? I had my fun with it. We've mentioned that. I'm over it pretty much. I still enjoy a beer sometimes when I'm super stressed out, because I get it. Like, you're a maniac. Alcohol is a sedative, tranquility through chemicals. Yay. So alcohol is by far my least favorite demon. Dude, this shit, everybody thinks it's okay because you can walk into a grocery store. Like, you can walk into CVS. I wasn't supposed to get into COVID again, but you really trust people to take care of your health that sell 190 proof Everclear for human consumption?
You know, if you take that stuff and you spray it on a toilet seat, the next person that goes to use said toilet seat, it's a nice little surprise.
Yeah, I mean,
it burns.
And it's for ingestion. Like, topically, it burns you, and people drink it. You know the difference in Everclear and like 190 proof denatured alcohol?
What?
Everclear, it's basically water. Like, it's just pure fucking alcohol and water. Denatured, they add like 1% arsenic. So that means literally, if you don't pay excise tax on your alcohol, the government puts arsenic in it. It's a heavy metal, right? Super toxic heavy metal. So it causes something like most heavy metal toxicities. So, like, you're familiar with the Mad Hatter from like Alice in Wonderland? So they went mad because of the mercury they rubbed on the beaver skin hats. Their skin, late 1800s, nobody heard of rubber, especially a rubber fucking glove. So long-term exposure to something like mercury will cause you to go insane. You lose your eyesight, you lose your teeth. I mean, gold miners would get it. Like, mercury's common 100 years ago. So that's why I hate alcohol so much. Like, I've watched who could have been my favorite person on the planet, my dad, pickle himself for years. He's been intoxicated since he was my age, younger. It's that synthetic tranquility. You can't be happy with your life, so you be happy with your drunk life. Exorcism 2 is in the works. Okay, so this demon, I think, is what you would call a summoned demon. A friend of mine has a house. He's been out of state, and a family member's been taking care of said house, right? So apparently family member's been doing some super shady, fucking possibly illegal shit, which is why I'm not going to mention too much about it. Everybody knows rule 1, right? Apparently this kid broke it with some like blood sex magic shit in the house. I haven't gotten confirmation of meth yet, but I have assumptions because, you know, blood sets your meth. Yeah, that shit. So I think I already mentioned, like, exorcisms, my presence usually is enough to scare off the demons. But this time I'm going to go a step beyond and just fuck with it anyway. So I'm assembling a magic kit. I have a nifty box that went somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Ritual, ceremony. I feel like I've explained the 4 corners, like, warding technique recently. Matt's looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I'm assuming that wasn't on the podcast. So I'm planning on doing that thing. Do you want to know that one?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Like, I assume someone contacts you about this.
Yeah.
So then, like, what's the first step after they contact you about it?
Questions always.
Yeah.
Gnosticism. Like, is it math? If it's math, you gotta tell me. We've been down that one.
Yeah.
It's usually a conversation and that mind reading thing I do, and then that seeing fate shit. That's fun. Like, it's almost like my brain builds a puzzle faster than the pieces exist. So, like, just from generalities and seeing so much fucked up shit, I can see where something's going long before it happens. Which is where I get into the fate bending manipulation shit. But we're talking advanced. I don't want narcissists to get a hold of this shit and start using it against me. So what questions would I have of somebody that says they think they might have a demon?
Yeah.
Well, first it's explain. Just tell me everything you can.
Like why you think you have a demon.
Yeah. So depending on what they say, I go from there. Most of the time, it's more feelings and shit. Like I keep seeing something, or something's being moved, or I had a nightmare, or I don't know. There's a presence. Like I think it's out of normal human range of sight and hearing and stuff. Like it's slightly above or below our range for both. And we discussed the shit out of that. So frequencies are frequencies. It doesn't matter if it's light or sound or it's frequencies. So my second question is usually, does it feel like an impression or is it following you? What happened? So this shit sounds summoned. Like kid was fucking with shit he didn't understand, which is the edger mentality. I have it myself. I just apparently haven't been bit in the ass yet. So like I like fucking with demons and shit too, but I do it sober and I don't hurt people in the process, which is why they don't like me, I don't think. Shadows feed off your own fear, and I have none of them. So they just don't fuck around. Usually. Did I mention I talk a lot of shit about the supernatural?
Mm-hmm.
Hoping they'll show up and fuck around back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So then what's the next step you take?
So a big part of an exorcism is the homeowner, whoever's affected has to be willing.
Mm.
This is, I mean, exorcism and rehabs are very similar, except for, or not, I guess.
You can only help those who are willing to help themselves.
I didn't summon the thing.
Right.
I don't own the house.
Right.
I can run it off while I'm there, but if they don't keep it gone,
They'll come back.
It's a symptom. I can treat symptoms. They have to treat the condition.
An attachment.
So getting them out is the hard part for normal people. Like
Right.
once they get the relief, they realize, oh, okay, it was something that I can control. And once the fear is gone, it's gone. Like their only tool. The misdirection and shit, but that's usually just the fear of the unknown. Like I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It can move a cup or whatever. I guess if they think if it can affect the physical world in any way, it's automatically just going to break that third wall and fucking. It's cool that in a universal level, the fourth wall becomes the third wall. Nifty. I'm apparently still talking fast as shit tonight.
So, are we talking like possession or just like an attachment to a house or an object? Like how does that usually work with demons?
So 2D answer for an object. Phylactery.
Yeah.
Lichdom. We've done that. Houses.
Yeah.
Similar.
We cover that too.
But so there's degrees. Lichdom would be like an 11.
Yeah.
You've gone supernaturally good at this. Somewhere to 5, you're talking like, let's say somebody were to take this demon enchanted mirror thing, that the first demon lady, the blood god, that thing, like somebody else was to take that mirror that was already imbued, enchanted with that blood magic.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to inscribe more, like, would that do the thing? And then down to the 2 is just like that impression, that cosmic entanglement thing. Just an impression. So the same day of the year, some mother lost 4 children or some shit, and it's snowing, just like it happened to be on that day. Like you just walk through and catch those morose feelings, like you miss someone you never met. So possession would be the human, and so that's a fun one. Like, is somebody on meth possessed by a demon? They act like it. But I mean, sometimes. I'm not saying every person on meth ever freaks out, but
Right.
those,
Well,
like,
a lot of people refer to addiction as a demon.
yeah. So the elder gods, I was talking about that earlier. Like,
Are we talking about like Cthulhu or?
sort of. Cthulhu was a weird one. Like a baby god, kind of, compared to like Nyarlathotep or the true ancient, the ones that couldn't fit on this planet. Like they consume planets.
The Titans or?
Sort of. So imagine those things aren't like, so everybody wants to think of God embodied. He can't be. The entire universe is God embodied. Okay, so these elder gods, they'd be one of chaos. So all of the chaos in the universe combined equals the embodiment of the elder god of chaos. So, like, in my opinion, this has to be a real thing. Is it a sentient being? I don't think so. Like, by definition, chaos is not. There is no law, order, rhyme, reason. It doesn't work. So there'd be an elder god of pain. So like all of these elder gods of bad, there's also the ones of good. And that's normally what everybody attributes to the Christian God. And all the bad would be the Christian devil, which is funny because that still doesn't work, because most of them still like, well, he's a vengeful God and a wrathful God and all that shit. But yeah, I don't know, whatever's convenient.
Which that was more Old Testament, where they used fear to keep the masses under control.
Yeah, I mean, fear and then pity.
I mean, kind of, I guess, bend to their will. Which what the New Testament was fun, because Jesus comes out and was like, nah, fuck all that.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, look how well that went. Turning the other cheek, got him stabbed and fucking impaled, and I mean, just royally fucked.
Yeah. He led by example, though.
Jesus was a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Slightly misguided. He thought the human race could be saved with love. I don't think so, man. Not all of them. I mean, I can't save anybody that doesn't want to be saved, because that's not saving them.
Yeah.
It's like terrorism, forcing them into my ideal. Like, some people are born to not be great people. I just don't see why they have to live to be 100 years old. Like, cool. Fool me once. Capital punishment. It should be reserved for the most extreme offenders. Jails can pretty much go away. I don't get the point of a jail. I kind of do. Oh, that's a fun one. So all that concrete and steel, I think it sucks something out of a human being. I don't know what they do with it. Like, if it's just the fact that they don't want it in the people, or if it's literally like some kind of funnel. That's maybe why. God, I'm getting into theoretical crazy shit here, but so why is weed illegal? It calms people down, opens their mind, and doesn't fuck them up. It doesn't fit the status quo. So they kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They take all these people with all these excess energy, who are obviously medicating that shit with the weed. They made it illegal, strap them in a box, and suck that shit out of them at the point of a shiv. Yeah. Anywhere you get a bunch of men together, you're gonna have a bad fucking time.
Yeah.
The gorilla mentality comes out. I have more testosterone than you.
It's a pissing match.
Yeah, all of them. The army, frat houses, jail. I mean, pretty much anywhere men assemble. I'm not saying women are perfect. Like, have you ever seen a group of women together?
It's scary.
Oh, fuck, terrible. Not every group of women ever was bad, but like, no. I think even most women will probably agree with that. Like, women, when they get into that toxic female shit, the fact that you have to have 4-inch fucking acrylic nails all the time in certain circles.
Please scratch my back with that. Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, like, do you understand the fingernail thing? It's a sign of wealth, prosperity. If you had to shoe a horse or chop wood,
you're not gonna be able to do it with long nails.
If you had to do anything, like it, I've seen people get them and they have to walk around holding their hands up so they don't lose them before the wedding. And I get it that you probably get better at having them as you have them, but I don't get it, man. Vanity.
Yeah, it's just proof of a privileged life.
So, I mean, vanity has its point in society. There's a reason it was a good thing. If you could be clean, like there was less risk of infection, you're going to live longer. People don't like death. So, like, if I'm going to marry somebody, am I going to marry the clean rich guy or the dirty hobo? I guess that depends on a bunch of factors, right?
Yeah.
That anybody that says the clean rich person doesn't have some certain appeal is a liar, or they are the clean rich person. Yeah, like everything else, we've edged it up to this point of you have to fit this thing. If you don't have the right colored TikTok leggings, you're a terrible human being. Obey, consume, procreate, die. Don't miss a step.
Pay your taxes.
Oh, fuck taxes. I mean, consume, even if they didn't tax us, the corporatocracy.
Yeah.
The government runs the businesses run the government. Everybody's getting paid, but the people working.
Mm-hmm. All right. To steer back to exorcisms.
Oh, yeah.
So once you've identified what this demon may be, what's the next step?
So there's power in a name.
Yes.
So, like, God, I mean, this shit's cliche, but her words, not mine. I asked her, like, if it had a name, and she said there's so fucking many. Legion. Are you familiar with the story?
Mm-hmm.
One of Jesus's miracles.
Legion.
So the Bible, dude, we should start dissecting that shit. Every story there has a great. I shouldn't go into lupus, leprosy, any of that shit, unless I already have. Then fuck it.
I think so.
So almost every physical chronic condition is mental illness physically presented.
Right.
And I get it that, like, if you lose your kidney, I can't holistically give you a new one. Modern science is getting close. They're getting pretty good. I don't know that I'd want a fake kidney because you have so many risks. And at the end of the world, adding risks, I think I'd really rather just have my one real one. No, if I didn't have any, I'd take one. Fuck it at that point too.
I think I'd almost rather have an artificial one than someone else's.
I don't know much about it. I know that the refusal rate, like, unless you have a family member willing to donate who just happens to get lucky, it's going to reject. You're going to have to take, like, chemo to suppress your immune system so it doesn't kill it. And then eventually it'll just
causes a whole new host of problems.
Yeah, it's nasty. So, like, ideally, don't wreck your organs. Yeah. And I get it. Genetic, whatever. You got in a wreck. Popped your fucking spleen. Start taking care of your meat suit. Like, that's
the only one you get.
Well, sort of. You get a new one every 7 years, but if you lose a piece of it, it won't regrow. Your liver, you alcoholics out there, stop it. You get a new one if you don't completely kill it. So once you identify the demon, at that point, I don't know, man. I've never met a real one. So, like, it's the blood, sex, magic, the elder god shit. Like, it's the god of pain or the god of meth, or somewhere somebody was mentally ill. They came up with this idea that doing this blood magic would make them stronger or better or something, and placebo effect, it made it true. So, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do shit for the house. It's probably going to be counseling with dude. Like, sorry, your family member blows. You should probably sell the fucking house, because I guarantee it won't. Don't tell the story to the next people. And they'll have no fucking clue. But I am going to go check it out, because why not? If I feel something, I'll go from there. I'm going to take holy water and my Buddhist rosary prayer bead thing, wherever that is.
Call them mala beads, I think.
I don't know what it's for. I know what I use it for.
To count your blessings.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Something pretty similar. I mean, like the Catholic Rosary. A lot of the major religions use these all across the world. I find that if you can find it in the East and the West hemispheres, and the North and the South, like if you find it in all four quarters, there's probably something to it.
Mm-hmm.
The wedges, I guess.
Well, I think it goes back to like what you say about magic. You're putting your intent into it.
Mm-hmm. But so there's also that higher, like, so those self-evident truths, if you find it in all four corners, it's self-evident.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even, you can argue the regional dialects and stuff, like, does it have cross on the end, or the lotus, or who gives a shit? But yeah, I mean, the story's the same. All the major religions have a flood story. I mean, there's science to prove that there was a great flood, at least one. I mean, shit, there are like asteroid collision points in Mexico that like guaranteed at least like hemisphere wide fucking extinction events. But yeah, I mean, we've been here recording shit for 6,000 years ish, with pictures mostly. But we know everything about our 7 billion year old planet. Couldn't have possibly been a species here a million years ago. We would know, right? 1,500 years, the human race is gone. Not a trace left.
That's being a little generous, I think.
That...
Christmas Day was what, 70 degrees?
Yeah. So we put a gold record on the moon.
It's also one of the Voyager satellite.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's one on the moon. I think there might be. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, we sent some artifacts out that should, I mean, be in perpetuity preserved by the vacuum of space.
Yeah.
Rust can't grow without oxygen. And gold, as far as we know, it's like unblemished.
I don't know if the one that was on the Voyager survived leaving the edge of the galaxy. From what they could tell, it was pretty much traveling through fire on its way out.
I know absolutely nothing about that, but that's fascinating. It's on the edge of the galaxy. So, you know how we talked about the warp drive and faster than light?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you why I don't think a warp drive will work?
I don't recall.
So the common science is that we cannot go faster than the speed of light. So I had this idea 20 years ago, like as a kid, that what if we could transform matter into light? And I know it sounds ridiculous. Science says no, but that was 20 years ago science. And now people are starting to be like, well, maybe. But you can still only travel at the speed of light that way.
I mean, everything in the universe is basically made of stardust.
Yeah. Other than hydrogen. Hydrogen's the original element. So like when it sprang into being, and then the hydrogen fission fusion bonded together and became the heavier elements in the hearts of stars. So like even iron is such a heavy element that it had to be formed in the heart of a pretty heavy star. Like oxygen, I want to say, had to come from a star. So some of the lighter ones, like neon, I think those can be formed at the edge, like on the edge of a gaseous star formation type thing. So faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
Or even approaching, they call it approaching the speed of light. So once you get to that 13 billion miles an hour or whatever, supposedly the universe will intercede and slow down time around you so that you can never actually break the speed of light. So 100 years ago, they had a similar opinion on the speed of sound.
I was going to ask that.
So like we actually break the matrix by exceeding the speed of sound. That's where you hear sonic booms, and you can actually watch the Doppler effect behind like a supersonic jet. You can see the warp in reality.
Yeah, almost looks like a ripple.
So I don't understand that fully yet. I don't see why people aren't looking into this more. Like maybe they have, and I just didn't understand it, or I've never heard it.
I don't know.
But so anyway,
I'm sure they're. Well, I mean, it's so theoretical still.
Yeah, but why? I mean, we broke the sound barrier a long time ago, 1940.
Yeah.
I know it was by the 50s. I mean, we had the SR-71 Black Hawk doing fucking Mach 7 at 70,000 feet, 90,000 feet.
Yeah, that's a cool point.
Do you remember the space jump? The Red Bull space jump?
No.
Dude took an air balloon to the edge of space and jumped out like 107,000 feet. So he set the record, right? And everybody's like, oh, it was over 100,000. Nobody's ever done that. He did it in a space suit after years of planning. Not taking anything away from him. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But the guy whose record he took was set in like 1956. Dude was in a leather bomber jacket, a fucking set of aviators, and like an oxygen bottle in an SR-71 at, I want to say like 95,000 feet, and had critical failure, bailed out at 85,000 feet, and passed out for minutes on the free fall.
I'd say so.
Survived. Like, landed the chute. Insanity, right? Fact check me on that one. I want to say I watched it on the History Channel, but sometimes the shit in my head is, I don't know what's, yeah.
Did we finish on the exorcism?
I don't know.
I think so.
I mean, I'm going to go do the things.
Yeah, you're going to talk to him. It might just come down to counseling and
yeah, it's chaos magic, man.
Yeah.
There is no real reason to have a plan. Just take some tools and don't fuck it up.
Yeah. So can things like that ever attach to you?
They haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. I like introducing myself into the strangest environments possible just to see what I see.
Yeah.
You don't find cool shit right in the middle very often.
It's a pretty big risk, though, isn't it?
Me? It's all a mindset, placebo. Like if I drop my armor and let them in, yeah, I might be fucked. But that's depression for me. Like the demons do get in sometimes, but I can't quit. So I just have to muddle through until my armor's strong enough to push them back out, and then we'd go again. These are the healthy coping mechanisms. Go take a shower so you don't shoot yourself. And I know that sounds stupid, but like everybody, well, not everybody. Some people like being stinky, I guess. But
or find somebody who'll bring you some good food, like chicken strips and mac and cheese.
Yeah, the chicken strip and mac and cheese and a shower. Man, the Beatles said it. You get by with a little help from my friends.
Yeah, those little comforts can go so far.
Little things, man.
Especially for people that don't have those things.
Dude, it's a privilege. Like eating every day is a fucking privilege. And I try not to take advantage of it. And I know like some privileges you should take advantage of. Clean food and water. Tuesdays. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.
Bye, guys.